Brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
And that show throws it away. That'll do it. And a huge 2 victories at home for Utah over Kansas and now Kansas State.
Man, they pounded us on the glass, right? Like pounded us. So 21-6 offensive rebounds, and that allowed them to get the ball in the paint, which caused us to have to foul, and then they stepped to the line and made free throws.
I mean, yeah, I think so. We obviously got to win out, and I feel like we could do that with our team. Just always have hope.
I don't know exactly what the answer is. The halftime different. I really think the answer is because it seems like to start winning contests, both teams are I
believe that we have to execute these extra games coming up. They should be easy wins. Obviously, we can't take them lightly, but we still have to play the best we can. But we got to execute these next 3 games.
I think right now we're really focusing on playing for each other, executing, especially on offense, like executing our plays and just putting together all the little puzzle pieces.
Consistency of the at-bats, consistency of the timing, being able to adjust to different pitches. The things that you're looking for from anybody as you go through spring training. But
the last thing we wanted to do was go home today or tomorrow, whatever. So the Americans, we'd love to play them again. We feel like we can beat those guys, and we plan on playing a little better Thursday.
Bring it on, Canada. Bring it on. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, our traditional Tuesday snow day. Yeah, second straight week. School's out. Hopefully you're tucked away at home as the snow continues to fall here in Great Bend. That snow belt they were talking about last night, I think, has descended right here on Great Bend. We're getting bamboozled here with snow. Hopefully you're able to get out of your house today. I just hoped I'd get back to mine. It was a challenge just coming into work this morning. So anyway, we're going to bring you a snow day program today. Cole Reif, he's going back and forth. He's got kid duty today. That's what happens when school's out, right? Yeah, you got to find somebody to take care of the kids. So we're going to push Cole off until tomorrow, the voice of the Barton Cougars, and he'll be talking about Barton basketball tomorrow. We'll be able to talk with Panther basketball color analyst Mike Marzoff to see if he survived. I think he went out to try to clear his driveway. He's enjoying a snow day from school today. And we're going to bring you a couple of special things today. It's baseball season. Spring training's going on, so we're going to bring you a special Baseball Tonight podcast. Buster Olney talking with my favorite guy, Tim Kurkjian, and they're going to be discussing. Tim Kurkjian got admitted to the Stratomatic Hall of Fame. I really think I should be in there myself. I spent many, many hours of my youth with Stratomatic baseball. They're also going to talk about their top pitchers in baseball going into the season and which teams that Tim is most excited to see in spring training and what the heck are the Cubs doing. So that's coming up. Great segment from Baseball Tonight. Last night we had Duke and Virginia on the radio for you. Duke cruising to an 80-62 victory. Bob Valvano was on the broadcast, and he's going to talk about that game and some other things going on in college basketball. So that's what we've got on the docket here on this snowy Tuesday. And let's go ahead and start with our sounds the past 24 hours or so. That was a call late last night on ESPN2. Utah closed out their 74-69 win over the K-State Wildcats in Salt Lake City. K-State getting out-rebounded in the game 51-28. That was amazing. But, man, you see Utah play. They got these big goons, man. They can shoot threes. And they came up with a win. Jerome Tang talking about that rebound discrepancy last night. So a tough loss for K-State. They were on a roll. They'd won 6 in a row. Then they've dropped their last 2. So you talk about a bubble team. Yeah, 13-13 now for Kansas State. They're 7-8 in the Big 12. And Max Jones was asked after the game if K-State still had a chance to play in the Big Dance. Says you always have to have hope. Kansas State returns home Saturday to play Arizona State. Kansas will try to avoid the 0-2 Utah sweep tonight. They will be in Provo to take on BYU. Bill Self's just trying to figure his team out. Talking about bad starts, bad start in the second half, coming out of the locker room ready to go, and Bill Self's just, I think, fed up with his team. Said, well, you'd think both teams would come out there ready to play. Not necessarily play well, but at least be ready to play. I don't think he's been happy at all the way his team's been defending, and they need to get this one tonight. KU just staying in the top 25 by reputation alone. They're at number 23. Probably they don't deserve to be in the top 25. They're 8-6 in the Big 12. That's the same record as BYU, who beat K-State on Saturday. 8 o'clock tip tonight, and we'll have it for you over on Hits 106.9 starting at 7:30. We're going to have that game here on KVGB, but since Larned and Haven postponed their game for today, they're going to try to make it up in Haven tomorrow. So the Jayhawks will be back on Hits 106.9 tonight. Some other college basketball news. K-State women got beat as well yesterday. They had an afternoon game at West Virginia, who was ranked 17th. They beat the K-State women by the score of 70-57. A couple Lady Cougars in the studio on Monday, including Kiana Hall, a freshman from Liberal, talking about Barton's final 4 games. They're trying to get a home court in the first round of the Region 6 playoffs, but they can't drop any more. Now, they do have a favorable schedule down the stretch. Cody Greer, another freshman on that team, she played at Baser Linwood High School, saying it's time to make some changes this week. Barton doesn't play on Wednesday. This is their bye week, so it's time to make some changes that can lead to postseason success. So Barton won't be back in action until Saturday. They'll play Fort Hays Tech Northwest in Goodland. Next week, they play Colby and Independence before closing the season at nationally ranked Coffeyville. Now, Coffeyville's a team they almost beat here in Great Bend. Now, Colby's 9-11. They've had a pretty good season, but Independence and Northwest have a combined record of 2-36 in league games. So that's what Kiana Hall was talking about. They've got a good chance to win those before they go to Coffeyville. There was action in the Jayhawk Conference last night. On the men's side, Coffeyville pulled within a half game of Barton for second place in the Jayhawk standings. They beat Cloud County in Concordia 74-67, and Fort Hays State Northwest Tech, Fort Hays Northwest Tech, they beat Pratt last night in Goodland 90-86. On the women's side of things, Coffeyville all of a sudden just a game out of first place on the Jayhawk women's side behind nationally ranked Dodge City and Hutchinson. They beat Cloud County on the road last night 69-56, while Pratt beat Fort Hays Tech Northwest. I've got to remember Tech comes before Northwest, 73-66. High school basketball last night. Mike Hesher had the call as they played their game on Monday. They got it scheduled. And Hesh said he got back last night, just a few snowflakes before the snow really started to come down. But the Hillsboro boys beating Hoisington 57-40. The Hillsboro girls over Hoisington 43-28. Mentioned Larned had their game moved to tomorrow night with Haven. Big win last night in the Western Athletic Conference for the Hays High boys as they knocked off the fourth-ranked team in Class 4A, the Bullpups of McPherson, in Hays 57-52. So some have been wondering, well, it's destined, right, that Hays and Great Bend would end up in the same sub-state? Probably not now. That was a big win for Hays to get. That improves them to 10-7 and kind of moves them off that middle bubble a little bit, although it's pretty packed in 5A West. But Hays High is 10-7, and the Hays High girls are 17-0. They pummeled McPherson last night by the score of 60-29. Couple matchups in the Central Prairie League last night. On the boys' side of things, La Crosse beat Kinsley 53-30, while Pawnee Heights beat the Chase boys 56-33. On the girls' side, it was La Crosse over Kinsley 42-30, and Pawnee Heights beat Chase 52-17. All right, you heard Matt Quattrero. What are they working out on at spring training? Well, patience at the plate. As Royal spring training continues, they start they played their first spring training game on Friday with the Texas Rangers. Also, of course, the news yesterday that Kansas City extended Executive Vice President and General Manager J.J. Piccolo's contract through 2030 with a club option for the following year. Club also exercised manager Matt Quattro's option for the 2026 season. I really wanted to watch Team USA play Canada on Saturday night, but I didn't do it because they're in that Four Nations face-off. I really want to watch now. That's Team Canada's Nathan McKinnon on the rematch with Team USA. Team USA beat Canada 3-1. There was like 3 big fights like in the first 90 seconds of the match, of the game. And Thursday, they will be the final, the championship. And this one's going to be in Boston, where I just wonder if U.S. fans are going to boo the Canadian national anthem the way the Canadians booed the national anthem for the United States. U.S. hockey team has put out a call to President Donald Trump to be in attendance for their grudge match. After that game at Montreal, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was at the game. So Team USA wants the president to be there Thursday night. I kind of have a feeling that he'll probably be there. Now, Team USA lost yesterday 2-1, but it didn't matter. They fell to winless Sweden, but they've got some injury issues, so we'll see what happens as Team USA and Canada play in the Four Nations face-off coming up on Thursday. All right, there's your sounds the past 24 hours or so. We're going to talk Great Bend Panther basketball. They're off until Wednesday, until Friday when they take on Dodge City. And everybody just take a deep breath. Ian Premer's ankle is fine. He's going to be a go. It's good news because we're going to see Cooper Omot's return to action on Friday. He's been cleared. I don't know how much he'll play against Dodge City, but I imagine that's nice to know for Kyle Cree that he'll have Cooper Omot back in his lineup next Tuesday when the Panthers, unless we have another snow day, because that's Tuesday, right? But they host Heston at the Fieldhouse before closing out the season at Hayes, and that game's going to be for the Western Athletic Conference Championship. So that's a big game coming up, so looking forward to that. All right, we're going to talk Panther basketball with Mike Marzoff. That's coming up next here on Sports Day. Our show today brought to you by the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, featuring number 2 Clear Diesel, bulk fuel, E10, fuel delivery, and all your lubricants and fuel supplies. And Great Bend Rec Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals. Sports Day, rolling on a Tuesday after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you thinking email for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting email for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley. C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Martin Community College presents Sing Sing Blues, a powerful, original musical about life, love, and redemption behind prison walls. Step back to 1954 and witness the lives of the incarcerated men of Sing Sing Prison as they explore their relationships with the loved ones who won't give up on them. Don't miss this unforgettable story February 20th through the 23rd and visit shows.bartonccc.edu for tickets.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Our show brought to you by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Joining us now, educator and home on a snow day, Mike Marzoff. Do you get excited like when you see like Chase come across the screen, you jump up, woohoo! No school today.
I do get excited, yeah. I like going to school, man. It's not like the old days where you got to get up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and listen to the radio or watch the bottom of the TV scroll by. Yeah. They like send you phone alerts the night before now, so I'll take some of the fun out of it.
Well, that's okay, but you're in a position to have a snow day. I'm here.
I think it's too cold for school tomorrow, too, so.
Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, today we're going to talk about the Panther basketball team, but I've got a trivia, a question for you.
All right.
Okay, Offerly back in the days, right?
Right.
Long time ago. Biggest speed trap in Kansas.
It's not anymore, is it?
No, and Leon still is. When you're going through Leon and Highway 50, so always slow down there. But we have a new speed trap.
Dighton, Jetmore, Kansas, man.
What in the world's going on?
That was crazy. I mean, 11 o'clock at night, we slowed down to 51, still slowing down. And he hits his lights and chases us out of town, man.
I wish he had chased us out of town, and I would have kept going. I wouldn't have stopped.
You think he loses his jurisdiction at the edge of town?
I don't know.
He was a county guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. I mean, we had 4 radio stations plastered on there. I think that he doesn't like listening to the Chick Chat show on 100.7 Eagle Country.
I don't think we saw a car for like 30 minutes.
No.
So it's not like we were causing trouble or anything.
Oh,
it's not like it was like noon when everybody was crossing the highway.
$187.
That's about what I pay for not dimming my lights.
Well, this isn't about you.
I mean, it's crazy.
Come on. Yeah, go through Jetmore. Don't stop and buy anything because, you might get pulled over for running a stop sign. So
we're going to go to court and protest it?
Well, what can I say? I was going 51 and a 35, but it's coming in from the west, from Garden City. We were slowing down. I mean, I probably wasn't at 35 or 39 right when I crossed the pole.
No, but we were definitely slowing down. And it was 11 at night. We're at 11:30 at night. There was no traffic anywhere.
Well, at least I had time to look at my phone and things like that. Well, I thought he was writing up a warning ticket in the back. I had not had a speeding ticket since 1989. It was in Clinton, Oklahoma. I was going to Fort Hays State and Cameron.
Who was with you then?
You were. So I don't know. But you didn't do it the last time you did that. You'd always wave that ticket around on me for the next 2 days.
Didn't you get on that day because it was too wet to be driving? You were like speeding, but it was for the conditions you were going faster than you should have. Wasn't it something like that?
Yes, I was doing 62 and a 55. And
but it was sick roads. Yeah, I remember that.
The roads were wet.
We just kept traveling. Well, we've had several miles in between there. So.
Slow down going through Jetmore. Again, don't buy anything. Don't buy anything because, you could get pulled over because for an illegal left turn.
See if Hodgman County High School gets any football calls next week.
Now, you don't need to bring that up. Bring that up. Okay, real quick, Ian Premer looks like he's going to be okay. And Cooper Omott coming back on Friday. I don't think he'll see too much time against Dodge City, but it'd just be fun to just see all of Great Bend on the court at the same time.
Well, it might be a good time to get Cooper some minutes. I mean, because we've got 3 games left. I mean, and we want him going into the postseason going pretty good. So hopefully Cooper gets, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so, maybe a couple quarters worth, and get that knee moving a little bit and see how it goes. And we've seen... Literally, I think Jacob Hall came back one day, one game, and Cooper Omott got hurt the next game. I mean, we have not seen Great Bend at full capacity almost all year, Steve.
Yeah. Well, they were, they took care of business, and the first quarters for this team have been amazing. So they get Dodge City, then next week it's going to be Heston at home, And then for the conference championship, I don't see Hayes stubbing their toe again. And that Friday in Hayes, that'll be something to behold. That was a big win for Hayes because you talk about right there, all those teams in the middle of 5A West, that kind of, it didn't separate them by any means, but that was one that maybe last night against McPherson you were counting on. That's going to be another loss. But now they're at 10-7, and they get on the top of the heap right now in 5A West standings. Yeah, they're 10-7 with Emporia and Newton, and they're just actually got the game behind Topeka West for 6. But then right on their tails is like Andover Central 9-8, May South 9-8, Valley Center 9-8, Hutch 8-8. There's a whole group of teams in there that, you know, Great Bend's looking at that group for seeds 8 and 9. I mean, that's who would come. Great Bend right now has a 2-game lead on Cape, and so I'd be quite surprised if Great Bend was not the top seed in the West at this point. So you're looking at that 8 and 9 position, and right now it's 3 games left. You think you could narrow it down to about 4 teams or so, but it is an absolute mess right now for that 8 and 9 spot, right in the middle of 5A. It's crazy on the west side. Okay, and then as far as the Panther girls, I don't think they're not going to have to go to Topeka Seaman. That was you were just tearing up that phone the other night. You don't want to go to Topeka Seaman, so. Well, right now at 5-12, if they get another win, that gets them to 6. Goddard Eisenhower already has 6, Goddard 7, so they're not going to get any higher, it looks to me like, than 14th at the most, so they're going to be either 15 or 16, and that's either Topeka Seaman or Hayes. Yeah, take your pick on that. They could get up to 14. They could get up to 14, and that would send them probably to Andover at this point, but Seaman's still a possibility, man. Okay, well, you've been out in this snow today, right? I did. I got my deck cleaned and my driveway to the car. Now I've got not car to the street yet. That's the biggest hurdle I've got. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I've just been watching the Carol Burnett show most of the day. And hoping for more snow, because it's still snowing, right? So I think it's about done, but yeah, it's still snowing a little bit out there. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to. So how cold did you get? At about, I don't think I made it more. I definitely did not make it 10 minutes. I made it a little bit more than 5, and my hands got cold, my head got cold, and I got a lot of hair to cover my head, but it got pretty cold out there too. I was stocking hat and everything, man. What? Well, weren't you moving around? I mean, you got to move that shovel. You build up heat. Yeah, you don't build up heat when it's -1 and wind chill's like -20. You don't build very much heat up. Well, I'm going to find out here in a little while. So I'd break the covered overalls out. I go, oh, works, man, if I was you. Oh, I'm going to be out there for any kind of time, man. Load up. Well, layers. I know, layers. I've got the insulated coveralls, but I only can put like 6 layers on underneath those or they don't fit. So that's yeah, they shrink over time. It's crazy, man. I don't think my covered overalls fit me anymore. They just keep shrinking. All right, Mike, enjoy your snow day. You too, Steve. Good luck with that Snowblower 2000, man. It's a 5,000. Yeah, okay. No, come on. I need it 10,000. But all right, thanks a lot. Mike Marzoff joining us here on the program. He'll be with me Friday night. Panthers hosting Dodge City at the Panther Fieldhouse. And then, that's the next to last home game of the year. And they'll play Heston next Tuesday and then go to Hayes the following Friday. All right, we're going to warm you up some baseball talk. The Baseball Tonight podcast. Buster Olney talking to Tim Kirchin. Nothing better. That's coming up next here on Sports Day.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Get the power you need for your farm equipment. The power of peace of mind that dependable Cenex lubricants deliver. With decades of proven off-road performance, backed by the industry-leading Cenex Total Protection Plan warranty. Cenex heavy-duty diesel engine oils, hydraulic fluids, gear lubricants, and greases are formulated to provide superior protection for load-bearing equipment. The power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine. Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor. Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades
to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
And in part today by Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish. And continued support, they have you covered. Also by the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend. Large or small, they take care of them all. Well, today we're going to warm you up a little bit by talking baseball. Well, actually, on this snow day, we'll have Buster Olney talking baseball on his Baseball Tonight podcast. Tim Kurkjian joined him to talk about Tim Kurkjian's admittance into the Stratomatic Hall of Fame. Yeah, I was one of those Stratomatic goobers growing up. Yeah, spent a lot of time playing Stratomatic baseball and, yeah, had my own league and everything. They'll also talk about their top pitchers in baseball, which teams Tim's most excited to see in spring training, and what the heck are the Cubs doing? It's all part of a Tuesday Sports Day show.
Tim Kurkjian covers baseball for ESPN, and he's a Stratomatic Hall of Famer. We broke the news the other day, Tim. What an honor for you.
Yeah. Not sure how that happened, Buster. You know, Jeffrey, my son, and I do a podcast. As you know, every week you were a guest. And we had Stratomatic on for like the last 12 weeks. They did simulations for us. We mentioned them all the time. I love Stratomatic. I played it as a kid. And then suddenly I end up in the Stratomatic Hall of Fame. Brad Doolittle of our staff sent me a text that this is a way bigger honor than going into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown for me. All kidding aside, when I was a teenager, I played that game religiously. And when my friends were out at night in high school on a Saturday night, I was sitting at home alone, playing Stratomatic by myself, like announcing the games under my breath. Occasionally I would write a game story after I played a game, and there were times, Buster, I looked around and I said, what is wrong with you? Like, one of your friends are out there, like, having fun, and you're sitting in your bedroom by yourself on a Saturday night. You're 16, 17 years old. What's wrong with you? So I love Stratomatic. I'm thrilled to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure I belong in there, but it's quite an honor, I must say, all kidding aside.
Yeah, you're asking yourself that question at age 16 or 17. I didn't know this about doing Stratomatic. I was that person at 20 and 21 and 22. I started playing when I was 15 years old. I can still recite cards. If you ask me about Jeffrey Leonard's 1987 cards and the damage he did against left-handed pitching with triples, unbelievable. Okay, so when I saw that the other day, I was really happy for you. Like, that's a big deal.
And I told you the story that Keith Hernandez played it religiously growing up also. So he gets signed to play pro ball, and he packs his Stratomatic to go play pro ball. His dad says, you're a professional baseball player now. You can't take that game with you. And he says, but Dad, I'm halfway through the 1970 season. So it was really good to hear that it wasn't just dopey writers and broadcasters who played that game a lot growing up. There are real baseball players, borderline Hall of Famers who played that game growing up, and I still can meet somebody who maybe I haven't seen in a long time, and I remember what his card looked like, from like 1979. That's how far back I go.
Well, and there's a whole language within this game that you and I could understand. Like, if I told you Ichiro was 1 - 5, you know exactly what that means.
Of course, he's a one fielder with a -5 arm, and that's about as good as it gets. You didn't get any better defensively than a 1, and a -5 is right out there, with Reggie Smith and Jesse Barfield and Roberto Clemente. You don't get much better than that. I'll never forget, Buster, I left my notebook in the press box in Minneapolis at the and John Miller picked it up for me. John Miller had just broadcast a game that night in the Metrodome. So he says, come up to my room and pick up your notebook. And I get up there, it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and John Miller, Hall of Fame broadcaster, who had just broadcast a game that night, is playing Stratomatic in his room. And this is the height of the Blue Jays, and he goes, I love the Blue Jay bullpen. And he had Dwayne Ward and Tom Henke all lined up to go in to pitch the 8th or the 9th inning. That's when I realized maybe I'm not the weirdest guy in the world. John Miller is on the list also. And you too.
Yeah, Taylor, you feeling sad for us that I can look at Tim and I could say to him, Joe Morgan, 1977, 2.8, 2.9, 2.10, with 2.8 being 1-12 home run and 13-20 double. He knows exactly what that means, Taylor.
Right. It's really pathetic, but it's okay. I'm 68 years old now, and when my son and I got him into it, so we picked up teams. We played the game a million times. We even made a card of my dad. My dad was a really good player. We named my son Jeff after my father. So my father has a Stratomatic card, Jeff Kirkjian, second base, and it's like a better card than Babe Ruth's card because we wanted my dad to be really good. So we invented a card for my son. It was tremendous.
Taylor, I didn't give you a heads up. We were going to talk about this at the beginning. As you're hearing all this, how you feeling? Are you sort of embarrassed that you're associated with us in any way?
No. This is just like if you guys had MLB The Show growing up, like you guys would just be teenagers locked away in your bedroom, just gaming all day. So no, just a different time period, but a whole new layer of knowledge that I didn't know you guys had. Everyone's got a bunch of
yeah, that's because we don't say it out loud. I mean, it would be too embarrassing to talk about it out loud. That's for sure. You're right. My son Jake, he speaks in a language about MLB The Show, I think back to my days playing Stratomatic. All right, as long as we're doing rankings, okay, we're talking about great cards. You know Tarek Skubal has a great card. We're going to be talking to him in just a moment. If you were to draw up a list, Tim, of the 5 best pitchers in baseball, 10 best pitchers in baseball, what number would he be?
You kill me with these impossible questions. Well, he's at worst one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball. I think he's got to be one of the 3 best pitchers in baseball now because he was clearly the best pitcher in the American League last year, not just because he won the Triple Crown of pitching, but because he did it in such dominant form. And when you throw 100 and you have an elite changeup like he does, and you have other breaking balls that are so good, and you have such a great idea how to pitch, I think he's in the top 3 pitchers in the game today.
Yeah, I would have Zach Wheeler 1. I'm in the midst of doing these top 10 lists. They just started coming out on Monday morning on ESPN.com. I ranked the catchers. When I rank the starting pitchers, I'm going to have Zach Wheeler 1. How does that sound?
Wow, I would not have put Zach Wheeler 1, but what he's done, Buster, is such a throwback in the innings pitched and the durability. We have lost sight of that, Buster. Guys win the Cy Young without completing a game. They win a Cy Young throwing 167 innings. This guy is throwing well over 200 innings. And you get to 200 today, it's like 300 in 1982 when Steve Carlton last threw 300 innings. So I'm a big durability guy. And it's not just an innings eater, Buster, and a bullpen saver. It's an innings eater who's really, really good. And I wouldn't have put him 1, but I can't argue with you. I just can't.
Did you happen to see the interview that JT Realmuto did? I think it was with MLB.com, and he was asked about a mound meeting with Zach Wheeler. And basically he said that when he goes out to the mound, Zach Wheeler doesn't pay attention to him at all. Like, Zach is kind of looking off in the distance, and he's like, yeah, hey, Zach, what do you got here on this next guy? What do you think in first pitch? He's like, I don't know. Caleb Cotham will come out and they'll start the conversation, and Zach doesn't want anybody out there. And so he just kind of looks off in the distance and sort of nods his head, makes it look good for everybody. They leave.
Right.
He has a unique personality that way.
Yeah, well, we love that. Most of our great pitchers are like that. They don't even know what's going on out there. All they're thinking about is looking at the catcher's mitt and location. Never forget, Roger Clemens got lit one night. And I asked him after the game, like, what happened? Or something like that. And he goes, I could hear the crowd. I could hear the fans. Meaning he wasn't in the trance that he needed to be in. He wasn't as focused as he needed to be. Something was off, and instead of just being able to focus on the catcher's mitt, the target, and what he was trying to do, he could hear other things around him. To me, that's what Zach Wheeler's like. He's just out there. He just knows what he's got to do, and he's not interested in what anyone else is telling him. He's only interested in what where the catcher is set up, and what he's going to throw.
All right, you're on your way to Arizona, and then after that, you're going to be going to Florida. You're going to be part of the broadcast that ESPN does, exhibition games, March 3rd through the 6th. Tell me some things. Give me a list of 3 things that you're really excited to see visiting camps.
Well, Buster, I'm sorry to be the chalk on all this, but I just have to see the Dodgers. I just have to be around a team with the 3 Japanese pitchers. I have to be around the team that just re-signed Clayton Kershaw just to see exactly where does he fit in. I need to see where Mookie Betts, I know where he's going to play, but how well is he going to play it? They're just, the way their offseason went, Ohtani coming back to pitch, eventually, they're first on my list. I just got to get a look at the Dodgers so I understand what we're watching when they get to Tokyo, and then when the other regular season starts on May the 27th. So that's the first team that I'm going to watch. And again, I got to see the Yankees without Juan Soto. To me, he was the biggest reason that they got to the World Series last year, and now he's not there. What will they be like offensively without him? But with all the moves they made around him, how good are they going to be? Is it possible they could be better without him, given that the money they spent by not signing him, they went and got Max Fried and a bunch of other people, Paul Goldschmidt, who in theory, Cody Bellinger should help that team. And again, the third team, Buster, again, sorry to be obvious about this, but the Mets, with Juan Soto, what kind of difference is he going to make? When you give $765 million to one player, and he's going to come in, and now you've got Pete Alonso back, and you got those 5 guys at the top of the order, I'm just not sure you can take your eyes off of them, especially when you're not sure about their starting rotation. So, as terrible as it sounds, there are a million fascinating stories. Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, I think, are just 3 teams that I have to take a look at.
Right, and I limited you to 3. I was wondering if you might also mention going out to Goodyear to see Terry Francona and the Reds, who have been pumping up on the podcast as being the team to watch, the team that's going to come out of left field this year and have a vast improvement because Francona's taken over. They actually tried to get better during the course of the wintertime, which was nice, and they're playing at such fertile ground in the National League Central.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating story. I always thought there was that outside chance Tito would come back. He came back sooner than I thought he would, and I think he'll be great. And Buster, self-serving, but I made a speech at Moeller High School this winter, and I cannot even begin to tell you how excited those fans are about the Reds in 2025. And having Matt McClain back and some other people healthy, Ellie De La Cruz, just another year of understanding how to play the game, how to play the position. They got a chance to be really good, and you're right, Buster, a winnable division.
All right, another team that we talked a lot about in the spring being the Boston Red Sox. Alex Bregman signs with them. And it's interesting. Alex Cora was the first one to sort of muse out loud about the possibility of Bregman playing second base. I had mentioned my top 10 list. I decided I'm going to put Bregman there because Rafael Devers is an established all-star third baseman that they have. But I think in the end, Bregman's going to wind up playing third base for the Red Sox. I think in the end, they're going to talk to Devers. They're going to tell him, hey, you know what? We're going to move you to DH. We have, young prospects that we want to use at second base. We're a better team if you DH and we have Alex Bregman, who won a Gold Glove at third base last year, playing that position. Talked to an evaluator with another team the other day, and he said, so you're going to have the best third baseman in the American League, and he's not going to play third base for you? How do you think this is going to play out?
Yeah, I'm a little confused, I must say, because when they signed him, I just assumed they're going to play him at second base because you can't move the best player on the team, Rafael Devers, off the position in which he's comfortable. But Bregman is clearly a better defensive third baseman than Devers is, and I think he'll be able to play second base because, Buster, we can't ever forget how seamless it was that a shortstop moved to third base and did as well as Alex Bregman did. I've done all the stories on Rico Petrocelli, Alex Rodriguez, Jim Fregosi moving from shortstop to third, how difficult that was to do. And to go from third to second is really hard to do, but that guy is such a great defender. He's so studious about everything that he does. I think he can handle second base very well. Buster, I want you to start thinking about how many times you've seen a premier third baseman move over and play second base every day. I've started the research. They're very, very hard to find. Edgardo Alfonso is like one of the few guys that I found, and he wasn't the same player that Bregman is. You find me a guy who played that many games at third base, produced the way he did, and then they moved him over to second base. It's a very, very difficult move to make, and it's been done very, very few times in Major League history.
And it's interesting too. I covered Edgardo Alfonso, and he was a guy who initially was a second baseman, but they were trying to find a way. Carlos Baerga was on that Mets team, and they were trying to find a way to put him. So they kind of put him, duck out of water at third base, and then moved him back where he was more comfortable. Alex Bregman, about his history in the middle infield, playing shortstop for LSU. It was part of the reason why I texted Ron Washington about this and asked him, hey, how do you think Bregman's going to do going from third base to second base? What are some of the biggest challenges? And he ran through a couple of technical things, turning the double play, getting the footwork right. But he said, look, this is someone who has excelled at third base. He's going to do great at second. In fact, Wash said, with the position, he said at third base, it's all reaction. It's all reaction that you have to learn. He said at second base, a guy that smart, he said he'll have more time to make plays at second. So he thinks he's going to be really good if that's what happens. But it's been interesting the last 48 hours that Alex Cora will not commit one way or another which way he's going to go on this thing. We'll see. I think they probably have to decide maybe in the next 3 weeks. All right, last one. I want to talk to you about the Chicago Cubs, and I think maybe the best way to frame this about the Cubs is what the hell are they doing, Tim? I mean, we've talked about the National League Central as being this great opportunity. You have the St. Louis Cardinals that, for whatever reason, have decided not to participate. The Milwaukee Brewers lost their best position player, Willy Adames, their best pitcher in Devin Williams. The Reds, it's great that they're getting better, but they have their limitations because they're in Cincinnati. They're a small market team. The Pittsburgh Pirates just sort of slog along. Their payroll doesn't go up. They do have Paul Skeens, but they have a lot of challenges. If you're the Chicago Cubs, you should dominate this division and think about where their payroll is, Tim, okay? It looks like in 2025, they're going to be somewhere in the range of 12th to 14th among the 30 teams in payroll. Right now, it's at $186 million. This is a franchise that if it were to be sold, their valuation is somewhere in the range of $5 billion. Like they are in the Yankees, Mets, Dodger realm when it comes to franchise value. It's like they're not even trying. And so when you heard that they were involved in the Alex Bregman conversations, it really felt like, you know what? Knowing how allergic the Red Sox front ownership is to multi-year deals, knowing that Detroit, the Tigers, probably their deal was going to have to be extended with deferred money, this is something the Cubs could have easily done. And can you imagine an infield with Bregman, Dansby Swanson, Horner, Michael Busch? It would have been incredible if they'd been able to land him. What are the Cubs doing?
That's a good question, Buster, because they've done some nice things this winter, Ryan Pressly is really going to help them. Kyle Tucker is really going to help them, but they need one more guy to become the best team in the division. I think they would have been the clear leader to win that division if they had signed Alex Bregman, who would come in and teach some of those guys, along with Dansby Swanson, how to win, because he's played in so many big games there. So I'm a little bit confused with all the resources that the Cubs have, that once I saw he was involved with the Cubs, I said, well, they got to go get Bregman. He's exactly what they need, and then they didn't. Now, granted, $40 million a year is a lot of money, but the Cubs seemingly can afford that, and I thought he would have been the last piece, the perfect piece, and they didn't get it.
Tim, they've cut their payroll by about $30 million since last year, okay? to get the flexibility to do some of the other things they've done, they had to move Cody Bellinger's money, right? I mean, think about this. The Tampa Bay Rays were hit by a hurricane. They can't play in their home ballpark, okay? When we know that they're always going to be in that 28th to 30th range when it comes to franchise value and what they can spend. And this winter, the Tampa Bay Rays have spent more money net than the Chicago Cubs. Please explain.
No, Buster, I can't. You've made your point, and you're right about this. They are the Cubs. They're in a winnable division. They haven't won in a while. People are ready to jump on board, and they just made one deal. They didn't make enough deals in order to be the Chicago Cubs.
That's exactly right. All right, Tim, thanks for doing this. Always fun to talk with you. Have a great time out in Arizona this week.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today we want to give a shout-out to all the supporting cast at these basketball games. We have some great young men and young women on the court, but we also have some great young men and women playing their instruments, cheering, dancing, all those things. Let's clap for them. When they perform and get done, let's show them a round of applause, show them some love as well, because they deserve it. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day today brought to you by Aller Automotive Repair. They specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Also, C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. And by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Well, in a game you heard right here last night on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, 3 different Blue Devils scored 17 points as number 3 Duke cruised to an 80-62 win at Virginia last night. Cooper Flagg, Don Knuppel, and Isaiah Evans all scored a team-high 17 to lead the Blue Devils, and Flagg posted his 7th double-double of the season with a career-high 14 rebounds. Bob Valvano was on the broadcast last night. He joined ESPN's Game Night to talk about it, along with other college basketball news.
Time for us to bring in our ESPN college basketball analyst, Bob Valvano. Bob, tonight, Cooper Flagg, 17 points, 14 rebounds. As you've seen him throughout the year, what's been the most impressive part of his game?
Well, Courtney, good to be with you guys. I'll tell you, if you love basketball, and I certainly fit that mold, I mean, it's very difficult to know what your feelings may be about Duke and, whatever, if you're an anti-Dookie. You got to appreciate this kid. He had a double-double in the first half tonight, and he just does everything incredibly well. He rebounds, he runs, he leads them in every statistical category. He's not one of those guys that, where he scores points. He leads them in block shots and steals and assists. He's made and taken more free throws than anybody on the team, and of course he leads them in scoring and rebounding. And talking to John Shire before the game, he said he is just a diligent, hard-working guy that comes to the gym, comes every day, punches the time clock, gets to work. And when your best player does that, it makes it easy for you to coach everybody else because, he's not coasted. He comes every day to try and get better. He just, he only turned 18 earlier in this academic year, and to see the accomplished skill set, he really does. I don't see any flaw in his game. He understands the game. He knows how to play help defense. He's unselfish. He shares the ball. He's remarkably quick for a guy his size. He can put it to the floor and beat you going left, beat you going right. He's the real deal. He is deserving of all the accolades he's getting.
All right, I thought he was going to be player of the year from, the very onset of the season, but there's a guy in Auburn named Johni Broome who I think has something to say about that. If you had to handicap it today, if it ends today, is it Cooper Flagg, or has Broome done enough to maybe make the conversation a little interesting?
I think, and this is really me being diplomatic, I think Bruce Pearl gets the Coach of the Year, and I think Cooper Flagg gets the Player of the Year. But I could have that exactly backwards because, Shire has done. When you follow a legend, the side of the road is littered with guys that followed coaching legends and got bounced after a year or two because it's just very hard. It's very, very hard. And he not only hasn't missed a beat, he's actually improved it. This is probably the best Duke team they've had for 10 years, which includes some pretty good teams that Kay had at the end of his run. So I'd like him to get some acknowledgement. But unfortunately, when you're blessed with a very good player, sometimes you don't. And so that's kind of how they cop out a lot of times. They give the Coach of the Year to one guy, the Player of the Year to the other. And he's got some competition in his own league. Pat Kelsey, what he's done at Louisville is amazing. And then there's some other incredible jobs, too. Dusty May at Michigan, that's the largest single-season improvement wins that they've ever had in that program's history. We already talked about Bruce Pearl and the job he's done. And so it's a really, really interesting year in the ACC because everybody's knocking about how down it is. But the simple fact of the matter is it's going to be a very competitive ACC tournament because other than Duke, everybody else is kind of bunched together in there. So we have those games, of course, on ESPN Radio, and I'm looking forward to them. But that was a pretty diplomatic answer for me, right? I shared the wealth a little bit.
That was a good one. He's Bob Valvano, ESPN college basketball analyst. I'm Emmett Golden alongside Courtney Cronin. It's game night. As great as Cooper Flagg is, he is a freshman. What are your expectations of him when the tournament starts?
Well, it's really interesting. Again, something I was talking to Shire about. We had them in the Champions Classic. It's one of their losses. They lost to Kentucky. The end of the game, they kind of ran in isolation for Flagg. He went too fast. He slipped and fell down, and they lost. They played Clemson the other day, and that was their one league loss, and the same deal. At the end of the game, he slipped and fell down. I was kidding. Shire said, you're going to work on having a couple of role players, maybe just hold him up so he doesn't fall down. And he said, no, it was – on a serious note, he said he thought he went too fast. It was a freshman. He was excited. It was early in the year. The Champions Classic's one of their first games. He really thinks, he said he thought there was a wet spot on the floor at Clemson. Maybe he's making an excuse for him. But that's not the point behind bringing it up. What's behind the point behind bringing it up is what a good job Shire does in coaching this team for such a young coach. Because he said, doesn't matter if he fell down those times if they play, because I have to put him in those situations because if we get to the NCAA tournament, and a situation like that comes up, he's getting the ball. He's going to run. We're going to run something for him, and he's getting the ball. And the only way you get comfortable in those situations is by experiencing them. So I thought that was really the right answer because he said, listen, if you get in that situation and one of the other guys misses a shot or something you lose, you're kicking yourself all summer because you're thinking, how did he not put it in Cooper Flagg's hands? But if you put it in his hands and somehow he doesn't get it done, you still sleep like a baby. It's the other guy's movie, and you happen to be in it that night because he's that good. You got to give him a chance. Now, what you think about is, do I get him the ball in a different place maybe? Like he said, maybe we got him the ball too late in the shot clock. We got him the ball dead center where help could come. Maybe move him to a side, let him attack from the wing. Those are all the things you talk about. But he's a very sophisticated coach, and for a freshman, Flagg's a very sophisticated player.
Hey, Bobby, great stuff as always. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thanks for taking a few minutes for me. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, when are you getting me off for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, when are you getting me off for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Jumpstart your education with Barton Online. You can pick up a class or earn an associate degree for less than half the cost of a university. We are always enrolling. Start when it works for you. Choose from 5 sessions throughout the semester, including 16, 8, and 4-week options. Save big on the way toward your career or tackle your gen eds with our low-cost pathway. Visit online.bartonccc.edu and enroll today.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KBGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Indeed. It's also brought to you by Equity Bank. Here when you need them. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Okay. The snow day. I'm on my way. I'm going to go battle it. Jeff Maurer just said that we have had 8 inches of snow. That's west of Great Bend. So that's another 2.5 inches that has been added on since Jeff checked in earlier this morning. So 8 inches of snow. Got to see if the Snow Thrasher 5000 can handle that. If not, I'm going to have to tell my one and only I need a Snow Thrasher 10,000. So I'm going to go home and tackle that here in just a little bit. Kind of excited. Marzov kind of scared me off a little bit with, how cold it is outside. So I'll bundle up and move around real fast. Maybe it'll be a little bit more pleasant outside. KU basketball tonight. They are at BYU, and we will have that game for you on Hits 106.9. Remember, Larned and Haven rescheduled for tomorrow. See if they can do that. I don't know. Keep snowing like this. We will see. But anyway, KU basketball, they need a win tonight. Or they probably will fall out of the top 25 the first time in a long, long time. About 80 weeks, over 80 weeks now they've been there. So that will start tonight, 7:30 on Hits 106.9. Let's see. Notre Dame, number 1 in the AP Top 25 women's basketball poll for the first time since 2019. Texas moved up to second for its best ranking since 2017. K-State, of course, they got beat yesterday by West Virginia. They were ranked 12th. Okay, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Cole Reif will hopefully be able to join us tomorrow. We'll talk Barton basketball, and we'll talk Great Bend Panther basketball with Lady Panther head coach Jade Winter. It's Sports Day on KBGB.